there's been an interesting thing happening. I don't quite know what this means, but I've been noticing in the last few weeks that when I've said things that are overtly disparaging of religion, I've been getting pushback from my audience in ways that I never have before. And what I think has happened here is that I have spent enough time off the topic of atheism and religion, or the conflict between science and religion, that I've attracted new podcast listeners, mostly, who are not so familiar with my work on that topic.
Well, it looks like Sam Harris is finally waking up. Seems like over the last few weeks, Sam has noticed the pushback he's getting on his atheism. Unfortunately, Sam, it's been going on for a while. It's weird to think, knowing Harris's level of intelligence, that I would notice something before him going on. I find that very bizarre. We've been dealing with this for a while now. The religious have gathered a newfound confidence, and unfortunately, it's not just the religious. We're seeing the same pushback from atheists. I know there's no way Sam would ever see this video, and that's unfortunate, because if he doesn't notice everything going on about it, I would love for him to know that pushback he's getting is also going to be coming from atheists. I think that's going to be something that's going to surprise him. Now, I want to go through this just a little bit and play a couple of clips for you guys. I think this came from his number 115 podcast of Waking Up. But it really truly is shocking to me to see this going on in this day and age, especially after the last couple of years on the internet and the takedown of the religious. It's really, really sad to see the regression that has occurred. And I feel bad for Sam because the worst is yet to come for him. He hasn't seen it all yet. Once he starts talking to the atheists that will be pushing back against him, that's really going to shock him. That's really going to be like a wow moment for him, I think.
So I noticed this in two places. First, in my last podcast with Andrew Sullivan and David Frum in D.C., I had said at one point when debating the validity of religion with Andrew, something about not having to believe any bullshit to lead a moral life. And my calling, in this case, Catholic dogma bullshit, was deemed offensive by some people. I remember there were probably some people in the room who felt that, and there were definitely some people who reached out by email to communicate that to be so disparaging of a religious tradition was unbecoming in me or counterproductive. All I can say is, if you were to read my first book, The End of Faith, or my second book, Letter to a Christian Nation, there are perhaps some surprises in store for you.
Now you hear that little scoff he did there. He definitely is really shocked by this. But there's a couple of things that I think are going to shock Sam more. He's got to realize that they're not going to go read his book about religion because they don't want to hear it. What he's going to realize is he's going to have to combat these ideas all over again. He's going to feel like he's in 2010, just like I do. In June, he's going to be having a conference with Jordan Peterson, and I think that's where it's really gonna shock him how religiosity has crept back into the fold. I think it's really gonna shock him when Jordan Peterson says something really stupid and he gets a roar of applause from the crowd. I think that's the moment when Sam is gonna be like, holy fucking shit, this is crazy. What the fuck happened here? I don't know if Sam knows, though, like some of his peers in science are starting to turn the same way. Like, for instance, Michael Shermer. Michael Shermer, I like the guy a lot. He's very fucking skeptical. He is an atheist. He gives no fucks about religion. But recently, I see this tweet from him, and it's making me start to wonder, where is he headed? The tweet reads, "Much criticism of Jordan Peterson is driven by jealousy, as what happened to Sagan, Gould, Richard Dawkins, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and any intellectuals deemed getting too much attention. Plus, prominent targets are more tempting to aim at because they elevate the critic in the process." I think this is a ridiculous tweet from Shermer. He's basically saying no criticism of Jordan Peterson is valid. Now, I know he doesn't say no because he says much of the criticism, so he leaves that open. But I'm sorry, there's plenty of valid criticism criticisms against Jordan Peterson, especially on the topic of religion. And for Michael Shermer to just dismiss that and say all his critics are jealous? What kind of skeptical scientist are you, Michael Shermer? You obviously have become friendly with Jordan, and you're showing your fucking bias, and it's weak. Now, I don't know if Sam's going to catch on to that with Michael Shermer, but hopefully he will. But he is going to see that when you go against the sacred cow of the new religious movement, Jordan Peterson, you're going to get a ton of pushback. I mean, I put out a video last night. I've already lost 15 subscribers, and I got like 40 dislikes on the video, which isn't normal. I don't care about these numbers. I'm just pointing it out. It happens. So I just really hope it isn't too much of a shock to Sam when this goes down, but it will happen eventually.
It really comes down for me between the difference between believing things for good reasons and believing things for bad reasons. And good reasons are the province of rationality and science and honest conversation. And bad reasons are the province of self-deception and wishful thinking and conscious fraud and dogmatism. And there's nowhere where these latter attributes are given more energy than in the context of religion, where they get rebranded as faith and promoted to the pantheon of human virtues. So all I can say is that there are some surprises in store, perhaps unpleasant, if you look at what I've said and written about religion in the past.
But Sam, you don't understand. Atheist, communist SJWs are tearing down our society. So we need religion, Sam. You know, that's what they're going to say to you when you say something like that. They're not going to be shocked. You're the one that's going to be shocked. I really believe that. I'm going to cut out most of the rest of this clip, but just show you the end part here.
In any case, it's amusing to see that I apparently have many listeners who don't realize just how deep my atheism runs. And I would just say that reading my first 2 books would certainly be the cure for that.
All right, so sorry about that. Sam basically just reiterates that he's totally surprised by this new audience he has. But I'm telling you, Sam, they're not going to read your book, and you're going to have to go through the steps again. I mean, are we really at the point where we're going to bring YouTube back to the atheist-theist debates? Like, that's pretty sad if so. You know, we figured we had this crushed, but like I said, if you don't keep your foot on the drowning man, they won't drown. I've said this a bunch of times in my videos, but no one listens, you know. You know, it's not Islam versus the West. It's honestly more than that. It's always been religion versus the West. Religion has always been the problem, and it will continue to be the problem forever until people wake up. And finally, Sam Harris is waking up to this. Will he become the next Hitchens? We know that's not going to happen. That's just not how Sam is. But we're going to need one. And unfortunately, I think a bunch of people who were on the side of atheism, that could have been great allies, have already fallen to the other side. And that, like I said, I think will be the biggest shock to Sam. Anyway, guys, have a good night.